Namaskar and a very pleasant morning, and welcome to the third and the concluding day of the 26th National Convention on Knowledge, Library and Information Networking, NACLIN 2023, being organized by Delnet, Developing Library Network, New Delhi, in collaboration with Goa University, Goa. We are starting off our technical session 5, which is on engaging users and enhancing user experience. I have a profound privilege and honor in requesting the chair, Dr. Suresh Jange, the University Librarian at Gulbarga University, Kalaburagi, to kindly come on the dais. And each one of you, please join us in giving a special welcome to Dr. Suresh Jange. Thank you very much, Dr. Suresh, for joining us at the convention. I have a profound privilege and honor. Please kindly take your position. I have a profound privilege and honor in welcoming Dr. Dhanshri Date, the Global Head for Information Resource Center, IRC, at Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, Mumbai. We welcome you, Dr. Dhanshri, and thank you so very much for sparing time, valuable time, and in gracing the occasion here today. And we really look forward, to your presentation. Thank you so very much indeed. We would like to make a quick check about the availability of our other the paper presenters of this session. May I request Mrs. Poonam M. Joshi, Mrs. Manali Acharya, Dr. Sandesh Desai definitely is being here only. May we request you to confirm you are here in this auditorium? Yes. Please kindly, may we request you to kindly take your position on the dais. Requesting Mr. Sunil Madhukar Gons, Mrs. Mansi Dattaria Rege, Mrs. Padmavati S. Tubachi, and Mr. Sudhir Bapurao Halvekar. Yes, please kindly come on the dais and you may kindly take your positions, requesting my colleagues at the back to ensure that we do have chairs. The chairs are being there. I have profound privilege. Please kindly join your hands together to give a big applause. I have a profound privilege and honor in introducing you all to Dr. Suresh Jange, who is a university librarian and a NAC coordinator working in the Virtual Learning Resource Center and Digital Library at Gulbarga University. Dr. Jange basically has Commerce and Management graduate, started his career as at Sterlite Industries at Vapi in Silvassa, Diu as a management executive and later moved to the library science. He was awarded the gold medal in BLISC and MLISC and obtained PhD. He passed the UGC NET exam and many other things. He served earlier at ETDC, Department of Electronics, Hyderabad, and Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai and has 25 years of professional expertise. Dr. Jange is also the coordinator for InfluPnet Center for Shod Sindhu, Shod Ganga, and INCAT projects, and Question Point Ask Librarian Service from OCLC USA Plagiarism Checking, National Digital Library of India, NAC, and NRF coordinator of the university. He completed his major research projects funded by the UGC on the development of e-content and traditional knowledge and folk wisdom of Hyderabad, Karnataka region. 2012, coordinator for digital knowledge project commencing 1,000 Gram Panchayat libraries in Hyderabad and Karnataka region, and also completed projects on open air green library and RFID technology. He has numerous papers to his credit. Also, he has been awarded with a large number of international recognitions and fellowships, and just to name a few, IFLA ALP Fellowship in 2007 to represent the country and visited Victoria University in Wellington, New Zealand, and also the Commonwealth Professional Fellowship for 2013, working at the University of East London. He has, to his credit, more than 120 research papers in Indian and foreign journals, FedScript volumes, and has, to his credit, more than 5 books and 5 edited books. He has also guided more than 12 research scholars for PhD and 18 for MPhil. He is also a vice president of Indian Library Association for the period 2022-2025, president of Karnataka University Librarians Association, and also the president of Hyderabad Karnataka Librarians Association. Has been on the government of Karnataka's nominated him as a chairman of the state level book selection committee of the Department of Public Libraries, libraries. And I could see that he has also been awarded with a large number of awards, including, again, to name a few, he was awarded as a Best Librarian Award from the Government of Karnataka in 2012, and also awarded Ifla Gidwani Deshpande Best Academic Library Award in 2017 by Indian Library Association, besides being bestowed with the ILA Kola Best Librarian Award in 2020. We welcome you, Dr. Suresh. Thank you so very much. Indeed, such a great honor and pleasure for us to have you today with us on this platform. Indeed, we are much thankful to you for gracing the occasion. It's a profound privilege and honor for me to welcome an expert in the field of library and information sciences, a great name and recognition that she has been able to attain, and that's because of her very unparalleled contributions, especially once we talk about the corporate librarianship, the one of the name which comes, which always, remains as one of the most prominent names, is no one else other than Dr. Dhanshri Edate. It's a profound privilege, honor, and welcome you, Dr. Dhanshri, to NACLIN 2023. Thank you so very much for gracing the occasion, for taking out time, for contributing an article for the conference, and that speaks volumes of your commitment to the profession, and also the vast expertise that you hold with you, and agreeing to share that with our distinguished audience over here today. Profound honor and privilege in informing you all that Dr. Dhanshri Date is a global head for Information Resource Center at Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, Mumbai. Just like her own recognition, the organization like TCS doesn't really need any formal introduction. That has being reckoned as one of the most leading IT companies in the world. And Dr. Dhanshri Date is having the greater responsibility, and one can see that because of her profound contributions, she's now the global head for the entire TCS libraries, which are across the globe. They are being there, and she is the global head for that. Dr. Dhanshri has more than 30 years of experience in corporate librarianship and has headed crucial portfolios including library automation, electronic resource management, competency mapping, and trainings. Dr. Date is also instrumental in conceptualizing niche information products and spearheaded IRC's collaborative research engagements. Under her profound guidance, TCS IRC bagged the LibTech Award in 2018 for the Best Technology-Enabled Library at the Library Technology Conclave. Her interviews are featured in SLA's Information Outlook 2017. Dr. Date is also on the editorial board of International Journal of Information Dissemination and Technology and has several national and international publications to her credit. Dr. Dhanshri is also an invited speaker, panelist, and visiting faculty at professional forums and universities in India and abroad, and her interest includes web content management and web technology for libraries. And one of the areas in which she is making profound contributions is indeed on the main topic of her presentation today, that is on design thinking and user experience in libraries. We welcome you once again, Dr. Dhanshri, and thank you very much for being there with us this morning. We have a pleasure in having our two paper contributors for the session on enhancing user engagement, a comprehensive survey of approaches and best practices in academic college libraries in Goa, which is going to be presented. We have the presenters, contributors, Mrs. Poonam M. Joshi, the librarian at Parvati Bai Chokle College of Arts and Science in Margao in Goa, Mrs. Manali Acharya, librarian St. Joseph's West College, South Goa, and Dr. Sandesh Desai, the university librarian here at Goa University. We welcome you all to today's session and also to NACLIN 2023. And we are very happy also to see that one of our co-authors is also serves on our the local organizing committee. We also welcome the paper presenters of the second paper of the session, User Expectations Towards Library Collections and Information Seeking Pattern of Postgraduate Students in the State of Goa by Mr. Sunil Madhukar Gons, Mrs. Mansi Dattaria Rege, Mrs. Padmavati Estubachi, and Mr. Sudhir Bapurao Halvegar. We welcome you. Thank you very much for being there. And it's now, I would just like to, keep the chair informed that we would be taking a little time in having the presentation downloaded of Dr. Dhanshri, the keynote speaker, because it has to be done online, and we are encountering a little technical glitch, and we are pretty sure that we will be able to just do that in another few minutes' time. In the meantime, I'm requesting the chair to kindly start the proceedings, and we may start off with our paper contributors, and then we may come back to our keynote speaker. It's over to you, Dr. Suresh.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are all blessed to be a part of NACLIN convention. Unlike other type of national conventions, we can really ensure that the quality prevails in the national conferences like NACLIN 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are all focusing on our technical session 5, which is on engaging users and enhancing user experience. As you are aware that user is a key component of any information system, and understanding the user is half the battle solved in providing a service to the services to the user community. And as a library professionals, whether you are working in academic institutions or a school institutions or a corporate sector, what is more important is how the librarians are able to create a conducive environment for the users, wherein the users can come to the library in a welcoming feature. They can be engaged, and they users feel that they are inspired to come to the library. For that, it is the greater responsibility on the part of librarians to ensure that we create an environment in such a way that users feel very comfortable to come to the library. For that, bonding of a librarian and users is very important, and having quality collections in the library is very significant, and the library providing a sense of a digital presence is more important, and we the librarians have to provide a variety of value added services so that we attract the users to the library. And today the major challenge is how to attract the users to the library, as mostly the libraries like degree colleges or state universities, we are facing the challenge of physical visit to the user. For that, this session is definitely going to provide insight and a mindset to all our library professionals. So today we have, before we commence our invited talk, I just ask the author, Mrs. Poonam M. Joshi, to present her first paper, and you have 15 minutes of time. Okay, Manali Acharya, please present your paper, and you have 15 minutes of time, and kindly focus on your main theme of the presentation, please.
Good morning to one and all gathered here. I'm Manali Acharya, and first and foremost, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Delnet and Goa University for choosing a research article for NACLIN 2023 conference presentation. To begin, I would like to share a quote by Zig Ziglar. If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. And with this quote in mind, let's motivate our patrons to utilize the library services and resources to the fullest. A research paper, Enhancing the User Engagement, a comprehensive survey of approaches and best practices in academic college libraries in Goa, explores the evolving role of academic college libraries in facilitating the learning and research. The paper highlights the importance of understanding the user engagement dynamics in the world of digital transformation and the increasing demands on the libraries to meet the diverse user needs. The research aims to uncover the innovative strategies and best practices employed by Goa's academic colleges to make the libraries not just a repository of books, but a vibrant and engaging space for learning and research. The paper also explores user centric approaches, inclusive environments, technology integration, collaboration with faculty and students, and the user engagement measurements and evaluation. The presentation is based on an extensive study conducted in the academic libraries of Goa, which seeks to explore the best practices and innovative approaches aimed at enhancing the user engagement in a rapidly evolving digital age. Understanding the needs of the library users is central to effective engagement. It requires adopting a user centered approach, employing the methods such as the user surveys, focus groups, and mechanisms for gathering the user feedback. Additionally, libraries must provide resources, services, and support that are not just relevant but up to date, all tailored to the specific needs of their user base. Creating a welcoming and inclusive environment is also a pivotal aspect of the user engagement. This involves offering inviting and comfortable spaces, providing diverse and inclusive collection and services, and promoting a culture of respect and inclusivity. Active engagement with underrepresented groups is crucial to ensuring that all the library users feel valued and included. In the digital age, libraries must harness the technology effectively. This entails offering the user friendly digital resources and services such as online databases, ebooks, and virtual reference services. It also involves leveraging social media and digital platforms to connect with the users, promote the resources and services, and facilitate meaningful interaction. Collaboration with both faculty and students is the key to engaging the academic library users. Libraries should actively seek opportunities to collaborate with the faculties on the course related instructions and the research support. Engaging the students through outreach events and student led initiative fosters a sense of community within the library. To continually enhance the user engagement, libraries must establish clear metrics and evaluation frameworks. Regular collection and analysis of the data on user engagement allows the libraries to identify areas for improvement and make data driven decisions to better meet the user needs. The challenges and opportunities in engaging academic library users are multifaceted. Libraries must navigate budget constraints, changing the user needs and expectations, and evolving the technologies. However, these challenges also present opportunities for innovation and experimentation with new approaches, allowing the libraries to demonstrate the value and impact of their services and programs to creative problem solving and adaptation. The study covered 38 college academic libraries in Goa, collecting data from the students, faculty, and the researchers. This was achieved through an electronics questionnaire distributed among the library professionals and users, along with a survey of selected college library websites too. The analysis of the data yielded several insights, including the primary motivation for the users to visit the libraries, the preference for printed and ebooks, user satisfaction with library resources and services, areas for the improvement in overall user engagement, the effectiveness of communication strategies for innovative approaches, and common user engagement strategies practiced by the academic libraries. In conclusion, enhancing the user engagement in academic college libraries is a continuous and multifaceted process, crucial for their success. By understanding and fulfilling the user needs, creating an inclusive environment, harnessing the technology, collaborating with the faculty and students, and rigorously measuring and evaluating the user engagement, libraries can effectively engage their users and demonstrate their value and impact. Continuous efforts to enhance the resources, services, and engagement initiatives are key to ensuring the long term relevance and effectiveness of academic college libraries. I'm grateful for your attention as we have explored the approaches and the best practices in academic college libraries in Goa. As we cast our gaze into the future, I have confidence that our presentation and research paper on page number 368 of the conference proceeding has provided all the librarians present here today with a wellspring of inspiration, delivering valuable perspectives on the array of best practices applicable to their respective libraries. Thank you, and once again, have a nice day.
Thank you, Manali, for your effective presentations and creating an impact on your research study on the users community. So next we will take up the another paper by Ms. Sunil Madurkar and Ms. Mansi Rage. Please, madam.
Good morning, one and all. Today, the topic of my study is user expectations towards library collection and information seeking pattern of postgraduate students in the state of Goa. The internet has highly influenced the students' social and academic lives by supporting various information on diversified subjects. The research and development of information communication technologies implemented by the libraries has revolutionized and transformed the libraries drastically from the traditional setup to the modern day advanced knowledge information centers. ICT has played an important role in storing, retrieving, and disseminating information to the patrons. Information is regarded as one of the most important aspects of the development of any nation. Coming to the objectives of my study, first is to find out the information seeking pattern of postgraduate students of Goa, to find whether there exist relevant, adequate, and sufficient resources in the libraries offering postgraduate studies, to assess the awareness of the library services in the colleges, and to find out the satisfaction level with respect to ICT-enabled services and electronic services. The research methodology we have used is survey method. Data for the study was collected by using questionnaires. In a physical manner, questionnaires were distributed among postgraduate students from Goa. We have considered 5 colleges which offers PG courses in south of Goa. The quantitative method and percentage analysis are used to analyze and interpret the data collected from the questionnaires. Students studying at the postgraduate level, that is MA, MCom, and MSc in all the colleges offering master's degree programs are considered as a population. Around 130 questionnaires were distributed and 120 questionnaires were considered for the study, and about 10 were rejected as the information provided was incomplete. Yeah, due to time constraint, I will not go to each and every figure of mine, but somewhat I will cover the main ones. Yes. Our study reveals that 25% of the population are male, whereas 74% are female pop respondents. Now, coming to the discipline-wise respondents, our studies reveals that 60% are MCom, that is come from students from the commerce stream. 20% are from science stream, and 18% are from art stream. Coming to the information needs of our population, we have realized that respondents consulted the supervisors and teachers for their information needs. Around 17% plus referred to the help of the supervisors. 15% asked their classmates to seek information. And then 58.33% use the internet to search the information needs. 10% used books, and the rest of the population have not responded to this question. Coming to the frequency of the library visit, our study says that 23% of the respondents have visited the library daily. Then 18% have visited the library once a week. 10% have visited twice a week, and 47% have visited the library as and when the need requires. Yeah. Coming to the pie chart of familiarity with library layout, our study reveals that 83% of the population were familiarized with the library layout, and 16% were not familiar with the familiarity of the library layout. Coming to the library familiarity with the library collection, our study reveals that 37% were familiar with the library collection, whereas 62% were not familiar with the library collection. Yeah. Coming to the ways to locate relevant references, we have realized that 42% of the population consulted the staff and their teachers. Then 40% of the respondents have searched information, or they could locate the references by using the shelves on their own, with their own efforts. 26% have used library website, 18% of the respondents have consulted their friends. 10% have consulted seniors in the department. 10% have used bibliographies compiled by the library staff. 10% have used new arrivals notifications, and remaining 8.33% have consulted by using the library OPAC catalog. Yes. This figure is showing the awareness of library services. Again, there are various, I will just take a couple of figures. 53% shows that they were aware of the circulation services. 48% shows that they were aware of book buying facility. And 44% shows that they were aware of book buying facilities, and the rest of the other factors. Yeah. Coming to the provision of ICT-enabled services of the library, 75% of the population have said that they were aware of the provision of the ICT-enabled services, whereas 21% felt that they were not aware. The library had not informed them about the provision of the ICT-enabled services. Yes. The next figure is user education program orientation on library collection, training and services. 90% of the population felt that they were provided with the user education program on collection, trainings and services, and 75% felt that they were not informed about, they were not given trainings regarding the collection and the services of the library. Yes. Regarding the types of ICT-enabled services in the library, we have taken 5 parameters. OPAC, 18% of the respondents felt that OPAC was given to them or offered to them. Coming to internet connection, 53% of the population felt that they were made available of the internet connections. Then coming to CD, DVD databases, 9.16% of the respondents felt that it was provided to them, and 41.66% of the respondents felt that they were offered and shown how to use online and e-resources, and 28.33% of the population was shown, they were made aware of the library websites. Yes. Coming to impact of ICT on information seeking processes, 55% of the population were enhanced. They could be enhanced with their studies, with the research process. 33% of the population could access to the updated and the quick information provided by the libraries. 27.5% could enhance their lifelong learning, and 11.66% could enhance through the communication. Yeah, let us come to the findings and suggestions of the study. Gender distribution study shows that more female students are visiting the library to fulfill the information needs. MCOM students have contributed to the research study in a larger number. Almost 60% of the students do visit the library to seek information for their academic needs. It has been observed that less than half of the total respondents are familiar with the library collection. It has been observed that sufficient printed material from various sources is available in huge numbers, and there is need for electronic resources that needs to be upgraded by subscription or other processes of annual subscriptions. There is an urgent need to raise awareness of the library services such as book bank service, reference service, new arrivals, current awareness service, etc., so that the library is at its optimum use. Due to technological advancement, libraries should keep up pace with the rapidly changing information technology. And last, coming to the conclusion, the library collection is the backbone of any academic college library. In this connection, we try to explore the user expectations toward library collection. ICT-enabled library facilities and services has been a bridge to gap the digital divide between the patron and the technology, enhancing the efficiency, quality, and time factor. Most of the college libraries lack ICT-enabled resources, services that should work on updating and upgrading the library collection of career and competitive exam section for preparation of such current exams. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mansi Dattatray, for your meticulous research findings. And definitely, this is a warning to the degree colleges in general, to the college which has been undertaken by the study by Ms. Mansi and group, that we have to ensure that the optimum utilization of print and electronic resources are a need of the hour, so as to stay in tune with the current developments. For that, the efforts on the part of libraries were very much important to ensure that whatever the resources, whether it's a print, electronic resource, or a technological things, we have to ensure that that is being optimally utilized. For that, regular workshop, regular training is the need of the hour by all the librarians. Now, we will make a move to the invited keynote speaker, which you are all waiting for. I request Dr. Dhaneshwari Madam to present your paper, ma'am. Give a big applause, please.
A very good morning to all of you, and my sincere apologies because I'm not able to open my file, my presentation. This is due to certain restrictions that we have in TCS, but I had certain idea which did not work somehow over here. So I'll have to go without the presentation, but all the same, I'll be explaining what I was going to speak about. We are talking about design thinking, and we're talking about user experience. This is a session about user experience altogether, and we really know how important user experience is, especially now when we are not able to see my slides and we have to just do with what I'm going to talk. So that really mars the user experience, as you can see. So how important user experience is one good example out here which I can set. So while talking about design thinking and user experience, I would say these are two brothers, okay? On the top, on the overall, they look different, but at the core of it, they actually come from the same family. Now, when we talk about design thinking, nobody would have imagined design and thinking as two terms, two words coming together as a phrase. What do you understand when you're talking about thinking? And what has it got to do with design? That is the first question it comes to your mind, right? When we talk about anything design, it is always unique. It is unique to a situation, it is unique to a person, it is unique to a need. That is where that whole design comes in. So all of you know about designerly cars, for example. All of you know about the designerly wardrobes, right? So what is designerly there? It is not something which is same. It is something different. It is something unique. It is something customized to a particular situation. So then when we're talking about thinking, what is it so unique about that thinking that it needs design? Now, when we talk about design and thinking, we should not look at design as a form, as an aesthetic, as something, very good looking. That is not the meaning of design when we're talking about design thinking. When we say design thinking, the word design here has a different meaning. It takes the meaning of a plan. It takes the meaning of a strategy. And that is where we are saying that for a particular thinking, a design has to be put in place. Now, which are those situations where you really need design thinking and how it applies to libraries as well? That is what I'm going to touch upon. So when we are talking about design thinking here, especially in libraries, there are situations where the thinking comes only after a lot of iteration, a thinking that has to go in for a problem that is not so easy to solve, a problem that does not have a solution overnight, a problem that does not get solved by just sitting at a desk with some paperwork. This is a completely different way of handling a problem. So when you're thinking about design thinking, it is basically to address a problem which is human-centric. So libraries definitely make a very important relation here because we are all the time working with humans. So when we're talking about design thinking, we are saying design thinking is a problem-solving mechanism, approach, where the problem is more human-centric in nature. The problem is not an easy problem to solve. The problem needs a lot of thinking to be done, and the problem cannot be solved by a one single individual. It needs collaboration, it needs a teamwork, and it needs continuous iteration going back and forth. And the main element in solving any design thinking problem is the user. So everything revolves around the user. That is where design thinking is very different an approach as compared to other approaches. And coming to the user experience part, what is user experience then? Design thinking, as I said, is about solving human-centric problems, whereas a user experience is about how the user is going to experience the different products and services that he always consumes. All of us every day consume some product or some service, and with that comes some experience, right? So here in design thinking, we are talking about solving problems that we face in the libraries because of certain human behavior where the humans are getting affected, and we're talking about the user experience where the library users are the consumers of our services whose experience is something that we have to enhance. So these are the two different things, really speaking, but as I say, they are the two sides of the same coin. So when we move out in design thinking, it all started with academia. It all started with Harvard's, it all started with all the top 500 Forbes companies, which really brought this design thinking aspect into the fore. Now, we have General Electrics, we have IBMs, we have Microsofts, we have Googles of the world who are using design thinking approaches to solve their human-centric problems. So why not libraries? So typically, what are these areas where libraries will require to use design thinking? Is it about some individual who has a problem in searching a book? Will you use design thinking for that? No. Design thinking will have to be utilized when the problem is really big. The problem sometimes is not even understood. The problem is sometimes so fuzzy that you really don't have a direct solution. These are the areas where you really need to apply design thinking. So one thing could be about the systems the library uses. All these systems are big systems where a lot of users get impacted at one time. So design thinking is typically used to improve, enhance the systems that libraries are using. Maybe you want to go from a typical conventional library to a digitized mode of library. These kind of problems are big problems, right? And they have to be solved with taking consensus of many around. So it will be users, it will be the administration, it will be the IS. So there are so many people involved, all of them putting their heads together to understand which is the best way to transition the IRC or the libraries into digitized form. The other thing would be space. We all are talking about reimagining the spaces. We are all talking about revitalizing the spaces on libraries. Design thinking is the right approach when you're talking about reimagining your spaces, because reimagining spaces also needs considerations on many aspects. And so it is not a one man's job. How do you really want to revitalize? The first thing, again, that you will hit is the user, because it is the user who's using your space. And so talking to the user is the first important thing. So anything you do, you begin with the user, you work with the user, and you end with the user in design thinking. Then the other approach could be also services, because you have a lot of services which play an important role and impacts the user's perception about libraries. So users have to know whether the services are helpful to them. The users have to appreciate that libraries providing relevant services. Again, you go back to the user to take the feedback. Also, libraries are very often putting up a lot of events. Let us take this kind of an event. Or there are many other outreach programs that the libraries put into. How do you go about doing a successful outreach program? It will not come just from the management and the thinking that goes within the library. The management and the thinking also has to cross beyond the libraries to move into users and people. So when we talk about design thinking, as you see, it is not a very straightforward thing, and it is not something which you can do easily. Then how do you really start approaching design thinking? So design thinking basically has some 5 steps or 3 steps or 2 steps. Now, who decides these steps? Who decides these frameworks? These are decided by the universities, maybe like Harvard. There are some very big organizations in design which are called IDEO, IDO. There is IBM, there is GE, there are Google frameworks as well. So all of these institutes, for their problems, have come out with certain frameworks which are certain 4-step, 3-step methods, so that they don't miss out on any particular important aspect within that whole thing. So what are frameworks? They are required because they are guidelines. So when we are looking at design thinking, we typically have these frameworks which people are using, which all mean the same. The first thing is to empathize. Empathize means understand the user, put your feet in his shoes to see what he feels like. So empathizing becomes a very important first step in design thinking. We have always been in library science taking user surveys, right? We've always been taking user surveys, and this is a very age-old practice that we have been following. So we somewhere at the back of the mind, we were right when we always talked to the users, found out from the surveys what is being highly read, like we've seen in one of these presentations also. Now, the question here is, then what is so different in the empathizing and the user surveys that we do in design thinking? Design thinking goes beyond just capturing the numbers. When we take surveys in libraries, we are looking at how many people came to the library, how much was the footfall, how much did somebody use a particular resource. It is now going beyond that how much. It is now going into why. How are they using it? Why are they going there? Or why are they not going there? This is empathizing to really go to the ground, to the root of the problem, to see why people are doing what they are doing or not doing. Because then there lies the problem. There you'll realize that you need to make a lot of changes. So just taking big numbers of as saying how many people have used it is not enough. How are they using it? Why are they using it? Is an important question you should be asking. So that is empathizing. Once you've empathized, once you've collected that data, it is the defining of the problem. Each one of us perceive libraries differently, the services differently, and we are also not articulating the problems in the same way. Some say something, some says other, but they mean the same thing. So it is for us to understand what is it that they are saying when we empathize, and understand. We have to understand where exactly is the problem. Is it the problem because the books are not reachable? Are they somewhere inaccessible? Is the problem because the area where the books are kept are in a dim light because people are not feeling like going there? Is the ambience value low? So these are questions that will come when you start asking or defining the problem. Once the problem is understood, then we start ideating. Now, this is an interesting process in design thinking. Ideating is you take people around, you do brainstorming, you collect them, put up a problem and say, okay, start ideating to say, okay, what would you like otherwise? What are the alternatives you are suggesting? What are the solutions you're providing? Take a lot of different ideas, ideate on them, and finally filter down by SWOT analysis, or also understanding which is feasible, which is not feasible, which idea has a proper strength to do things, which ideas are not worth taking up. Once you filter those ideas down, then is the time to actually do a prototype. Now, prototype is typically a very software related word, but it can be also utilized in our non-software environment of the libraries. For example, when you're doing a prototype in non-software environment, you're saying you do a pilot. So if you've understood that a particular service is required and that is the demand of the users, which we have never done, let us start small. Let us practice this on one location, 2 locations of the libraries, find out the success, and then move to plan it out completely. So that is the piloting stage. And once you've piloted, then the last stage comes is this testing of the whole prototype. After testing, there is always a possibility that you will realize that there is a failure. You have not really achieved what you wanted. Then you have to go back. Probably you did not ideate well. Probably you did not take good feedback from the users. So where did we lack? So this becomes a loop. So your process of design thinking doesn't stop by actually implementing. Sometimes you realize that you have failed. So design thinking is a process where you should also be prepared to fail. So this definitely is a very long drawn process. It is not something overnight. Again, let me tell you, it is for bigger problems. They are for fuzzier problems, and they will require time to really do your design thinking. Coming to this design thinking, I'll end with TCS's experience that we've had. We also wanted to revitalize our IRCs. The problem question that came to us was post-pandemic, all the libraries were looking very scanty. The footfall had drastically dropped. People were already used to taking online services. Lot of alternatives came into the place by then. And it was a good 2 years of time that we did not have our IRCs or the libraries open. That was the question when we came back. How do you pull your users back to the place? How do you revitalize those spaces? And how do you say we are here for you with something better? Now, that was the biggest challenge we faced. And we took up this challenge. We took up the design thinking process. We went through brainstorming. We collected all the seniors, juniors across locations. It was a one-to-one, big conference halls and big brainstorming sessions, out of which we generated more than 10,000 ideas. We also ran an ideathon where a lot of these ideas came online. But with the ideas, fortunately for us, also came a lot of solutions, because people, they don't just throw ideas. They also say, oh, I suggest you this can be done, that can be done. So along with 10,000 problems or statements, we also got a lot of ideas, and we could map the problem with the ideas to get an automatic solution from our end users itself. And from last November to this November, this whole thing was going back and forth as a design thinking process. And just 2 days back, as I'm speaking, we have just finished with one of the biggest idea that was rolled out for the first time by the TCS libraries in TCS, which never ever had happened before. That was a 2-day technology expo that we did for the TCS. TCS is all about IT solutions and offerings and products. Now, with the vast expanse that we have, the geographical spread that we have in TCS, our left hand doesn't know what the right hand does. That is the situation. From the brainstorming, we realized that many of them don't even know what are the products, what are the solutions offered by their own organization across. And that is something we cashed on. And we decided, let us do one tech expo for everybody. That was done across 13 branches, and over 100 products came up saying that, yes, they want to display their products. And there was a lot of takeaway, because people came to know what products TCS offers. The product owners came to know how they are perceived by the users. There were a lot of questions that were thrown by the visitors on the exhibition about their products. So they knew there are certain gaps that they have to enhance. The fourth thing was a lot of collaboration and networking that happened. There was a lot of mind sharing that happened. People were interested to know, oh, this is an area, AI, ML. I'd love to work in this. Can I get an opportunity? They said, we want people. So that kind of collaborative networking and a win-win situation happened there. And overall, it was a big understanding, a proper understanding of TCS for everybody. So this was a huge exercise that happened only because of design thinking. So these are the benefits of design thinking, where we are continuously working towards small enhancements. But we don't have to stop at small enhancements. In design thinking, you'll get to do something so hugely different than what you're doing, and something more contextual, more relevant to what your users are asking. And that will give you a lot of excitement, and that will put you at the fore of visibility in your organization. So let us not stop at what we are doing, or let us not just be contained with little increments that we keep doing every year. Let us do something big for the organization, but that opportunity will only come on the surface if you go into this design thinking process. You go meet people, get them together, and ideate. So this was one part of design thinking that I wanted to talk about. And the next is the user experience. There's not much about user experience that everybody knows what a user experience is, because everyone is a user and is experiencing. But again, to understand how the users are experiencing your services in the library, you again will fall back to the same methods that you applied, the same techniques that you applied in design thinking, which is empathizing, gathering of information, understanding users, how they walk. So there are some very interesting techniques that libraries have used to understand their users better. For example, there's one library in the US, which is quite a big library. It's an academic library. So at the entrance, and these are done not every day, these are done in sporadically in between, like for a week or for a month, they will practice this. But that is enough to collect information. So what they did was, for a month, at the entrance of the library, they requested the visitors who were coming to the library to open up their bags for them to be able to see what they carry into the library. So, with consent, many of them also agreed. They opened up their bags, and people, what we found was like calculators, or water bottles, or staplers, or sharpeners. These kind of things were being brought into the library because they require to work on that. And then, when they collectively saw what was coming into the library, they really got ideas as to how you can help these people not bring all this material all the time to the libraries, but why don't we provide it to them, because these are really essential things for anybody who sits in the library. So that is how they got the pulse of what they can provide, what facilities they can provide in the library. So this is something which is very unique, which is something very different and very interesting also, because it is very participative. Everybody participates in this, and there's a lot of engagement. So this is very important to do once in a way, so that you understand the pulse of the users. There are some who ask the users themselves to show them the library. So the library staff is telling the user, please show me around the library. That is when they understand there are many users who don't even know the basics of the library, because they don't talk about the library in the way we expected them to talk, which means there are a lot of gaps, which means there is a lot of communication that is left where they don't know much about the library. So taking the tour with the users is another thing. Then there's something called as mind mapping, where they are giving the users some pens and paper, and they pose a question to them and they ask them to draw. So they say, okay, draw 5 things that you like in the library that make you feel happy. So when you receive those drawings, they realize, okay, plants was something that they liked, or some view that they liked, or the seats that were very cozy that they liked, or the lamps that they liked. So you are getting the pulse of the users in a very different way. Had you been going and talking to them, nobody would have given you this kind of a feedback. But when you make them engage into these kind of activities, there's a lot of insight that you gain in a very different way. So these are the techniques which are used by many libraries to understand what their users want. Because many a times the users are wanting something and we are giving them something else. And that mars the perception of libraries. So this is about user experience. There are tools and techniques in both, as I said, in design thinking and user experience, but both of them can use the same techniques, because eventually it is to understand the user and the user problems. So this is design thinking and user experience for you. In fact, in library profession today, we also see a lot of this coming up as a new area, a new field of profession for librarians, where there are user experience analysts or user experience specialists. These are the roles that have already come up, and many of them are already taking these specialized courses to be a part of the library, but in a different way. So these are emerging areas. in design thinking and user experience for libraries. There are a lot of seminars, there are a lot of books that are available, and there's a lot of writing that has happened in design thinking. IDEO is one organization where they have a proper toolkit on design thinking for libraries, which I think you will also find in online. It is something that you must definitely see if you're really interested in design thinking. So thank you very much. I will stop here, and I'd like to take any questions that you have. Thank you.
Uh,
I just want to raise, I want you all to raise hands here. Anybody of them who knew about design thinking before? Or read about it or listened to any conference or anything? No. Okay. Yeah.
Ma'am, as you said, you all had a meet where you all discussed on ideas how to bring users back to the library. Could you share a couple of them with us?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So this is a very pertinent question, and I think many of you must be facing this problem. So as I said, we collected a lot of people around and discussed. We had a brainstorming session. What we did in that brainstorming session was, what is in the libraries that you would like to see? What is it that is not there right now? And what is it that you would like to see? We gave them post-it notes. Okay, so these are again techniques. I couldn't get into details. You have to share the post-it notes. You just give them chits or post-it notes, whatever, and you tell them to write down whatever they feel, one idea on one post-it. Because then we collected all those post-its and we found that all of them, there could be a grouping possible. Okay, so some of them were talking about ideas which were about online systems, catalogs. Some of them were talking about some particular activities that they would want in the libraries. Some of them talked about this tech expo that we talked about. Some of them talked about some other services. Some of them talked about sandboxes that they require, because we are an IT environment and they like to work on sandboxes. So these are not available anywhere and nobody even thought about it. And then we realized that, okay, there are certain groupings possible, system-wise, space-wise. So we collected all those post-its, grouped them together as per the area, and then we saw which are the recurring ones even in that particular area. So in the recurring ones, we found certain 20 categories that came up. So some of them were about events. So they were saying, we do have book exhibitions, and for several years we've been having book exhibitions. That doesn't help us. Now they've gone beyond. We did not think about it. We were continuously happy saying we are doing book exhibitions, but today people are not only on books. There's so much else in which they learn, right? So everybody was coming on saying we want hands-on activities. We want something to work with. We want some Legos to work with. There are adult Legos available where you can create models, you can create workflows. We did not even think about these. They wanted to understand TCS better. They didn't know what the products are all about. So they said, why don't we have something like an expo? And that was the idea we cashed on. And today we have seen such great success with that Tech Expo. And not only Tech Expo, today we have so many line items now for next 2 to 3 years from that Ideathon that we'll be able to take up one idea every year. And it is a big idea. It is something very different, out of the box completely. So that has made people so happy. All of a sudden, IRC is in the visibility. We call our libraries IRC. All of a sudden, the library is in the visibility. Everybody across knows what libraries can do. And today, the way people perceive us is very different than what it was with book exhibitions, right? So what has happened is, we have gathered ideas where we can put them within the libraries so that people come into the libraries, use their space, and increase the footfall. So some of them are sandboxes, some of them are activities like the Lego, some of them even want leaderboards, because they come after a lot of stressful day, they want something very light also. So chess boards, these are some things which have come up. And we really stop short. We don't imagine people need this. So that is how it was.
Ma'am, first of all, I want to express my gratitude to Telnet NACLIN for connecting you to us, because we have learned something new today, design thinking. You have said about we do orientation or book exhibitions, very common. So the biggest problem right now we are facing is usage of electronic resources. We are spending so much of money for that, and we are really working hard for that. But can you suggest some activity so that we can improve our usage of the electronic resources by design thinking?
Okay. So what you could do is like you have to, again, I'm just telling you off the hat, but this, you don't take this as my answer to your question, because you have to really understand what your users want. So I'm coming back to users again and again, because unless and until you talk to your users, if they are saying certain things, they'll also have ideas as to how to implement them. So talk to your users to get more detailed feedback from them as to what they like. So similarly, I'll just give my example again. We also, they were saying we want a lot of activity related things. We want to be engaged into the IRC. We don't want to just come, because people don't nowadays come to the library to sit full time and read books. They have so many other attractions, or I can say distractions, that people don't sit in the library for long. They take the books, they take whatever they want, they go away. And that is when we wanted that stickiness to the library as to how will they keep coming back to us. So there are some things like contest. You have electronic resources, so you try and market those electronic resources to them, maybe in different ways. Don't say we have these electronic resources, blah blah blah, and you can come. That will not really trigger that interest. What they need is some kind of a mental challenge. So see if you can put up some quizzes around those resources. When you are putting up your, I don't know whether you all have library weeks and all that, that is the time you can introduce these resources with putting some quiz. You can do it online, you can do it on paper, but talk about those resources, put up questions regarding those resources as a quiz format. Many of them will start coming because it is just a game, and many of them through the game will understand your resources better. So this is some way where you can incentivize them, you can pull them to your library through different activities. Actually, you're doing the same thing but in a different way. So every time a change is very different and more appealing to people, rather than keeping doing the same thing. So change the way you're doing things, even if you want to do the same thing again and again. So that is my answer to you for this. Yeah.
Hello, I am Dr. T.R.B. Sharma, the University Librarian in Shivanadar University. I am very much delighted about the new aspect of the design thinking. As a layman, frankly speaking, on behalf of university library system or academic library system, what's the main objective of design thinking? After hearing this total lecture, sorry to say that I could not able to myself understand about what's your main objective. Design thinking exclusively for academic library system or engineering libraries, universities, number one.
Okay, I'll repeat.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, prototype, you used this word. What's the prototype actually that you can implement in university library system, and is it limited to the only internal infrastructure or external usage of library resources? Because of the many engineering college and universities nowadays, as he is saying, subscribing lakhs, crores of resources, e-resources. In this aspect, what type of design thinking that we can implement in including, like Madam's Delnet, resource sharing with not only Delnet, with other institutions, universities, and as well as consortium. This is the latest development that it came. Is it like consortium word included in your design thinking? Like this thing, and one more thing, as your total lecture relates to go to your Tata consultant TCS, and it is a specialized library, and whereas our library community related to university and college library system is little bit aware these things to implement their institutions and libraries. Thanks a lot for your
Okay,
giving
I'll
opportunity.
take your questions as I remember them. So your first question was, you still are not very clear what design thinking is all about. So design thinking, again, let me tell you, it is about solving user problems. Like people come to the libraries, for example, okay? They are not very sure about your system. They're not able to understand. despite of the fact that you have an online catalog, despite of the fact that you have everything there put up, despite the fact that you have signboards around, despite the fact that you have signages, you have labels around the library, you are doing all that so that you make them, you make the self-help easy. You don't want them to depend on you for every small thing. Therefore, you're trying to give them these guidelines. You're putting up the online catalog, you're putting up resources which they can directly utilize. And still, if tomorrow you're finding that the usage is very low, still you're finding that people are asking questions despite the signboards there, despite you having labeled things. Why are people asking you these questions? Why are they fumbling? Why are they not finding? I'm giving you a very simple example. So these problems are not system problems sometimes. It is not about coding that has gone wrong. It is not about the programming language. Design thinking doesn't do that. Design thinking is about solving what the users are facing a problem as. So if the users are not utilizing a particular resource, there could be a problem in either you have not marketed the resource properly, or maybe it is not even relevant to them. That is why they are not coming to it, because they don't get anything out of it. Now, the answers to these problems could be many. I cannot tell you what the answer will be. That is why you will have to go back to your users to find out why are you not using these particular resources. And that's where my question again is, when we took surveys, we only took surveys to see how much which resource is being used. Here in design thinking, the moment you find a shortage of usage in a particular resource, you're not going to just stop at that. You're actually going to look at those people. You're actually going to target those users, focus users, get them together, start talking to them, understanding why, when we are giving you these resources, why is it that you're not using it? Why are you not coming to it? So again, this problem is not something which you will be able to solve without talking to users. You cannot think about a solution directly without leaving them out. So you have to go understand the users, and then only you will get your problem solved. So this is a human-centric problem completely. It is not about your system. It is not that your resource has some problem. Okay? So that is one thing. And secondly, your question is that I was talking about TCS. I was talking about TCS only to give you a pinpointed example to bring in clarity. Okay? But design thinking, as I started, had started with production, with manufacturing industries. Today, you'll find all service industries using design thinking like crazy. You have banks, you have hospitals, you have the travel and tourism industry, you have every service industry getting into design thinking. It does not leave libraries out either, because we are also totally service oriented. So again, coming to your point about corporate versus public library or academic library, does not matter at all. As long as you have users anywhere, there will be user-centric problems, and there will be design thinking which will be relevant.
Yes,
So-
madam. Thank you.
I have a actually question, ma'am. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Actually, whether this design thinking and this user experience, the main outcome will be the personalized services to the users, as far as my knowledge is concerned. But see, and you are applying that mind mapping method either in a conventional way or by using any kind of software. There are lots of open source software in mind mapping for the mind mapping.
Yeah.
So, what are the implementation steps taken by the TCS? This is our my main question, because we have lots of digital reference services nowadays, like AVRS and then instance messaging system, emails, and through RSS and all. But what are the initiatives taken by TCS libraries so that we can further follow? So these are my questions. So
See-
I just want to know the implementation level
Right.
of this entire personalized service.
Okay.
Madam, sorry to interfere. I think we can have a
We can
personal
talk
discussion
later, yeah,
during
we can.
tea
Okay,
time.
we will
yeah.
discuss it later.
So
Sure,
we'll
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
give a big applause to our invited keynote speaker, Dr.
Thank you.
Dhaneshri Tate. Well, thank you very much, madam,
Thank
for enlightening our delegates with your rich experience in working in TCS and giving a very valuable inputs to our delegates as to how we have to evaluate the users in the library. And one thing I wish to tell that, see, we normally the library, whether it's a college or a university, we never have a tendency of evaluating a user through a questionnaire or a feedback mechanism. But one thing we can do it is, we are all part of a NAC, and every year we are evaluating, we are taking a feedback about the teachers. You means the students' feedback about the teachers, and there is also one more questionnaire from the infrastructure point. So the IQSU director, because we the librarians are also playing the role as the IQSU director in many of the degree colleges and universities, there is a one questionnaire in addition to the teachers' feedback, that librarians can also employ one small questionnaire like, see, how do you feel about library, our collections, what suggestion you wanted. So that should become a part of our every year activity, so that we will get a valuable input from the users, and that we can try to incorporate in our library system for rendering a better services. With this, I take this opportunity to thank the NACLIN, madam, and all the participants for conducting and smoothly having this session in a very effective manner. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much,
Thank
Source
you
and
all.
madam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dhanshi Date. What an enlightening talk, and what we can think about all the time, is just the user. As you have said, that we have to start with the user, work with the user, and end with the user. So the user remains. It should always, always remain in the centrality of our services. All the time, we should always be thinking about one major factor, that's a user factor. Everything should revolve around the user. It's not like revolving around the libraries, it's revolving around the library should revolve around the users rather than the users revolving around the libraries. Very strong message, that you have conveyed, and one of the most impressive talks, not only of the NACLINs, it is one of the most impactful talks always, Dr. Dhanshi, that you are able to deliver. May God bless you, and you keep on spreading that strong message that we should never, take the users out of the site. Why these efforts? We could really, it's much praiseworthy, the efforts being put in by you. You are a global head for such a one of the most leading, organization, TCS, and you are showing the way to, to let the community, to professionals to know about it, that we need to focus on these points which simply remains hidden, and the things that get started from the users. So this design thinking, as you have rightly said, we are into the service industry, and one of the most important thing, we cannot think about the libraries without the users, and that's one of the major concern which is coming in, as you have rightly said, the declining footfalls happening, whether it's the physical or in the online environment. So we have to see, that's a very common concern coming in. So you have been really able to resonate, the very strong message that always, all the time, think about the users, device, and have this design thinking in your mind and thoughts and deeds. And even some of these very out-of-box thinking that have been put in, by the entire TCS team under your able leadership. We really congratulate you for all these efforts, and wishing you many more to do. And I think it's you must think about coming out with a kind of a manual, for the libraries. It can be the global practices for enhancing the users' delight in the libraries. And I think TCS and you being there, you should take a lead in doing that. I was wanting to ask you one quick question. If it is possible enough, we were just wanting to know, what are the ISO standards which have been implemented in TCS libraries? Have you taken any lead in TCS?
No, only the standards that we've used for ISO are for the infrastructure, for the furniture, but beyond that, for services and all that, we've
not yet. So this is also one of the thing, because we do have an ISO standard for customer satisfaction and customer delight, and what the leading service industries are doing it, service-oriented industries are doing it. I think maybe perhaps Dr. Dhanshi will be very happy that, to initiate some kind of it's again an awareness to create. One is on the users, delight, and also to see how we can evolve a policy among our libraries, which can be, it's always a helping hand. Adopting an ISO standard always is a helping hand. It's not that just to get that, kind of a recognition, but to work for those particular policies in place. But thank you very much. We were just wanting to find out whether TCS libraries have taken any lead in that. Thank you so very much. Indeed, a great honor and pleasure to have you. Also, a big thank you to our, other speakers of the session and our paper presenters who have been able to highlight about the user's experience in libraries. I cannot thank enough our chair, Dr. Suresh Jange, who has been always, it brings back the wonderful memories of holding NACLIN 2015, yes, at Gulbarga University, and the great support that he had extended. Always so wonderful that NACLIN remains as a bridging platform to connect, reconnect, and always look forward to having yet another, convention to again keep on building up those, the such wonderful collaborations. Thank you very much, Dr. Suresh, for taking care of the session and for helping us out, in completing the deliberations of the session. As a token of our warm sense of gratitude and thanks to our distinguished chair, the keynote paper presenter, and also the other speakers of the session, we would like to present mementos to them. Yeah, we have. I was looking for you there, Dr. Sandesh, and it's good to see that you are here. I was looking for you there. Yes, yeah. So may we request all of you to please kindly join us in the front, and then we may like to present mementos.
Schedule stall.
That we will do before because we have this. Thank you very much. With this, we close the technical session 5. And now we are moving towards the next session, which is a poster paper session. And we would just like to brief you that since we have the next session at 11:30, and we are also going to have a tea after this. So I'm requesting Dr. V.N. Patkar quickly to come on the dais. I'm also requesting our poster presenters. So how we have designed this particular session is requesting that poster paper presenters, including number 1, Mr. Syed Shoaib Ahmed, ALIO National Medical Library, New Delhi, requesting Mr. Sonia Mukesh Desai and Dr. Vaishnath Ramachandra Kamble to be there on the dais. Thank you so much. You take it. also the memento? Yeah. Requesting Mr. Atmaram Joshi to kindly come on the dais, Dr. Praful Namdeo Rao Kadu. We have Ms. Alisha Tilu Naik, Ms. Novelty. We have Dr. Bipin Argadev, Dr. Raghvaya P, Dr. Karnati Srikanth, Dr. Deepak Sharma, and Dr. Rahul R. Viswe. So what how we have designed this session is, we would be requesting the chair, Dr. V.N. Patkar, to quickly, basically we want every presenter to speak only for not more than 1.5, maximum 2 minutes. We have got around 7 of the presenters here. So we request you to just quickly brief us, what the poster paper is all about, what you have tried to highlight in the paper, and what are the findings. And these poster papers are all being available in the poster area. So immediately after that, all of us firstly will go to the poster area. We will just see also how this poster papers have been conceptualized and have been, this has been a good effort being made, by all our poster paper presenters. And then we are going to have a tea. And then we also have to be back here at 11:30. So more a challenging time for the chair to ensure that we are back here at 11:30. It's over to you, Dr. Patkar.
As I said that we are set into now 2020 match mode, and I will request every presenter 3 sentences basically. What is the problem, how you approached it, and what is the conclusion? Because detailed poster will be examined by other people. I call upon Mr. Syed Shoaib Ahmed to talk about the National Medical Library.
Thank you very much. Myself is Syed Shoaib Ahmed, ALIU from National Medical Library. I have written this paper about the services and the problems of which we are facing after COVID-19, and consortium which we are running. ARMED consortium which we are running, a National Medical Library running, and what is going to be happen in the next coming time, because everybody is the government is coming up with the ONOS, one nation one subscription policy for all medical journals, and also medical databases which we have been created by Access Medicine, developed by McGraw-Hill and other agencies. So I think my time has been completed, so I'll leave. Thank you very much.
Can I get that mic? Hello, I'm Sonia Desai, College Librarian of Swami Vivekanand Vidya Prasarak Mandas College of Commerce, Goa. And actually, it's my bad luck that my paper is not been published in NACLIN, but I'm lucky enough. That at least I got opportunity to come on the dais to say the few words on my paper. I found a major problem is conservation and preservation of rare documents in most of the libraries. So because of that, I tried to work on this, and I want, as a librarian, I give more preference to the print media because print books should be sustained for our future generation. So I would like to, through this platform, I'm requesting each librarian to take care of our print documents to sustain for our future generation, for the posterity of the India. Thank you.
For the disaster management, yeah, please. Just introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I am Kishan Gaukar from Agnel Institute of Technology and Design. My paper is about disaster management in libraries of Goa. This study aims to evaluate current status of Goan libraries with respect to disaster management, as disasters are unexpected events and sudden. It occurs without any warning, and if we are already prepared, then we can minimize the cause and our resources. We can save our resources and lives of patron. We sent a questionnaire to different libraries of Goa, and we evaluated that only few libraries have disaster management plan, and most of the libraries in Goa doesn't have any disaster management plan. This might be because of in Goa there is no disasters reported, and there might be because of lack of funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us hope there is no disaster in Goa in future also, but we must be prepared for that. Please.
Please give your round of applause to each and every poster presenter.
Good morning, all of you. I am Praful Kadu, Degree College Librarian. My poster paper is Mastering Communication and Presentation Skill to Path to Success. Now, in digital area, we know all the aspects and new skill adopted by the librarians, and effective communication and presentation skill are very important now in a day. So all information, detailed information is given by poster paper. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Digital reference services, user satisfaction.
Yeah, good morning, all of you. I'm Dr. Raghavaya from VNR Vignan Jyoti Engineering College, Hyderabad. My poster paper is on ChatGPT usage in academic libraries. ChatGPT was introduced just 1 year ago on 30th November 2022. That time we heard that it will kill the library and the library profession. But in my research, I found that it is useful to library in many ways. That I will read out how it will be useful for us in building the library and getting the users more. Okay, library can use ChatGPT as a search engine and a quick reference guide, and useful for broad classification, not pinpoint, but broad classification, and teaching in small things to first year students or not familiar with any subject, small basics that can teach, and helpful in syllabus framing and writing textbooks, small textbooks for 100 pages or 50 pages on any topic, and plagiarism checking and containing the plagiarism, and helping the librarian in following things. It can helpful in librarian in creating display list, books display list, and drafting a press release, and creating event posters, and creating the marketing material for promoting the library, and creating small images to attract the users. So that's all my paper. I can explain you more at the poster place. Thank you very much.
Please go ahead.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Alisha Naik, a school librarian of Aska Union High School. Along with my co-author, Ms. Novelty Warwarkar, I would like to present a paper on digital reference services, user satisfaction, a case study of Dance Prasarak Mandals College, Asagaon. So the brief introduction about what is DRS. So DRS is an online platform service for providing access to the information which is available online. So the objectives were to assess the current status of DRS of DM's college, then to manage the user satisfaction and to identify the areas of improvement. So the major findings were the email survey from the objective we have come to the findings like the email services are the mostly preferred ones. Then the users are mostly using DRS on monthly basis, like from monthly basis. Then most users are satisfied with their DRS, but there is a minor room for the improvements. Then updates and changes to DRS are considered as effectively. Then the suggestions are increase awareness and through the website, workshops, etc. Integrate Ask Us library service. They should put a plugin on their website stating that ask a librarian service. So the users can directly have their doubts with the librarians, then offer personalized services and conduct survey and understandings user need, and they can ask for the feedback for the improvement. Thank you, sir.
Good morning to all. I am Dr. Deepak Sharma from Indian School of Hospitality, Gurugram. I'm working as a librarian. The topic of my paper is use of digital marketing techniques in libraries. So I have tried to give the emphasis on the marketing techniques which we can use, specifically the social media marketing. And the component of my papers are why digital marketing is required for libraries, why it's important for libraries, then the difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing. Then the various tools which are available for marketing start from websites. We can create our own websites through various open source tools also. Then we create blogs. Blogs are very easy to write also. As a librarian, we should have a habit to write blogs on our resources, on our services on daily basis to be connect with the users. Then we can use email also to send our library updates to the users. We can create an email group for all of the users, and we can send regular emails to users about the various library updates on daily basis. Then there are search engine optimization processes. They are very easy to use once you learn all these search engine optimization techniques. The courses are very easily available on the Google. Google can help you with the free courses on digital marketing techniques. With the help of these courses, you can create your own search engines optimizations where you can ask users about various services which they want to use. What are the search terms which users are using inside the library from the website? You can just get so many of the details on through this search engine optimization techniques. Social media marketing techniques, like we can have our LinkedIn pages, we can have our Instagram pages also, Facebook pages. So we can connect with multiple users with multiple techniques. This will help our libraries to to connect with users in this digital era. So since majority of the students are of the young ages, they want to connect through social media. They spend more time on social media. If we have our library presence on social media, that can help us to easily connect with the users. Thanks a lot.
Madam, we have finished in 15 minutes. Everybody cooperated. Just to say that we are not undermining their contribution in any fashion. This is a big art to prepare your ideas and new things in one-page poster is a very difficult task if you are sincere about it. I will just tell a story from Churchill's life. Churchill was called by a school teacher to deliver a talk. Churchill said, okay, tell me the topic, some motivation talk like that. Then he said, how much time? I think I have to speak for 1 hour like that. That school teacher, you have to finish within 7 minutes. Then he said, then 3 months time I will take. See, to talk 1 hour is easier to plan than to talk for 7 minutes. So preparing a poster is a science and art both. So it is a motivation for you that, madam, your paper will be in the next proceedings, which she desires. So this is the starting point. So I hope everyone will take the inspiration from this short presentation, and all of us should visit their posters, ask very intriguing questions, get out of it ideas to be generated from that also, so that somebody can work on it. Thank you very much for all your cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the chair, Dr. Vian Patkar, and all the poster paper presenters. Let me also remind you that a one-page abstract has been published in the souvenir also. You can have a look at it. And as being pointed out by Dr. Patkar, indeed, the poster paper presenters have to work more harder, in getting that poster designed. And we had sent you also a kind of guidelines that what should be the size of the the poster in order to see that it just remains, in synchronization with everything, and you have put in more effort. So a very special big applause for the chair and also all our poster paper presenters, and we really look forward to seeing, the posters which they have brought it. And it's always good. In fact, Dr. Samir Gul was mentioning that someone in the flight, to Goa was carrying that poster paper, and that's how you are being. Otherwise, if you are a paper presenter, and this is for you, Sonia, no one would be able to know. And but if you are carrying a poster paper, everyone would be able to notice, oh, you are going somewhere and you are contributing, and otherwise proceeding, you can't keep on showing to anyone. So always, not a bad luck. Always the luck remains good and shining, and may the Almighty keep on blessing everyone, and you keep on shining and outshining. So we look forward to having you with a paper at NACLIN 2024. You should be the very first one, as soon as we announce. You already have got a poster paper. As I told you, you can further revise with our suggestions, whatsoever we have been desiring, and let you be the first one, to whom we issue the very first letter. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all. It has truly been a pleasure. May I request the chair and also all the poster presenters, and then we will move, because our big agenda is to quickly move to the poster area to have a cup of tea, and then to quickly be back here because we do have our next session.